first class is the Dorset Switchshorn ULAM. So let's go ahead and bring in that first class. Our next class will be the Hampshire ULAMs. So let's go ahead and have those people with Hampshire ULAMs ready to come in the ring in just a moment. Once again, we're going to be ready for class, or second class, and that is the Hampshire ULAMs. Let's have class 2, the Hampshire ULAMs, come out to the makeup ring now, please. And that Dorset ULAM is shown by Cora Barcher. Our next class will be the Hampshire ULAMs. those exhibitors back in the back of the barn. I don't know how well you can hear me, but we're following this class. We're going to have a class of the Hampshire Slickshorn Yearling Ewe, and then following that with a Horn Dorset ewe lamb class and a natural colored ewe lamb class. Those classes will just have one animal each, so we'll move through those pretty quickly. So be ready to bring your animals into the ring. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our judge for this year's sheep show. It's Mr. Darren Klaus. Darren hails from Sheridan, Indiana. He's been judging sheep for 23 years now. He's judged in 25 different states. Darren is an alumni of Vincennes University as well as Purdue University. He currently owns DC Livestock and Transport. Let's take a moment, give him a hand to welcome Darren here to Howard County this year.
not quite as far as long as what we see in the ones above us, but one that's put together well. I appreciate the neatness up here, that front end. One is not quite as wide down its top. I'd like to white this one out and its skeleton. The ewe-lamb and fourth, really nice ewe-lamb, and one that can be highly competitive wherever it goes. Just a little bit greener today in its overall makeup. One that's put together well from the ground up. And you can look at this structure. It's going to be a really nice ewe-lamb. The ewe-lamb that ground up class, certainly nothing wrong with this ewe-lamb at all. Just did a really tough class there. And when you go to analyze this one, you'd like to clean it up through its front end. You'd also like to whiten it out through its hip. The one that's got a lot of capacity and some muscle working for it. You would give a big round of applause. Thank you.
In that class of Hampshire ewe-lambs, first place placing fifth was Cora Bartram. Fourth place was Tessa Ortman. Placing third was Olivia Folan. Placing second was Patrick Kinney, and the first place name was exhibited by Madison Ingram. Our next class will be the Hampshire Slickshorn Yearling Ewe. The Hampshire Yearling was exhibited by Tessa Ortman. Our next class will be a Horned Dorset ewe-lamb. I apologize, folks. I got a little ahead of myself. We're showing now for our champion Hampshire. The champion Hampshire ewe.
excellent Hampshire right here. These are definitely females that we can take home and use quite a bit, and they're going to produce a great offspring. We've talked about them a great deal in class here. We can see that we got a lot of similarities out here. The sheep looking similar in their makeup. It's really close between the two class winners, but today my champion is going to be the ewe lamb, and reserve is going to be the yearling. You would give a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that champion ewe or champion Hampshire is exhibited by Madison Ingram, reserve by Tessa Corbin. And now we're ready for our Dorset ewe lamb.
Just one in this class here in the Horn Dorsets, but definitely a really put together well ewe lamb here when you go to analyze this one. Good through that front end. One that handles with some width down that top. She maintains that integrity when she walks around the ring and handles herself quite well. Would give the young lady a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that Horn Dorset was exhibited by Olivia Folan. Our next class is a natural colored ewe lamb.
Powerhouse female here in your natural colors, one that can definitely go on and stand quite a bit of competition. You appreciate her for her overall design. You really especially appreciate that design for her rack. Really big top, big back, and she's got a tremendous amount of muscle. One that's definitely going to be a powerhouse for this young man in this block. You would give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that natural colored ewe is exhibited by Hunter Folan. Our next class are the Shropshire ewe lambs.
In your structures here, we got a U-lane right here in front of me to start out this class. I think just put together the most positive when you go to analyze this one. Start at the ground, really wide at the ground. Lots of bowing on this sheet. A really neat front end, that chest force. She runs uphill. She's one that's got a tremendous top in her. I appreciate her for her extra width down that top. One that does disappoint you the amount of muscle that she has. Really square level out through that top. The one in second, I really appreciate this one from being just a tad bit more modern in size. One that's really thick down that top. Where I'd like to change this sheep is right through his tail head, kind of blow it out, and its pins make it a little bit wider there. But two excellent females. If you would give the young ladies a big round of applause. Thank you.
And second place in that class was Cora Bartram. The first place Shropshire Ewe Lamb is exhibited by Madison Baxter. We now bring into the ring our Southdown Ewe Lamb.
In your south down here, a complete female here, one that's really extra thick, especially when you look at her at the ground. She's really wide in her stance, and one that's got lots of capacity here. She's going to make an awesome brood ewe for the young lady. If you would, give her a big round of applause. Thank you.
And exhibiting that Southdown Lamb is Caitlin Pratt. Give a little patience here because Caitlin's exhibiting in the next class as well. I want to just make the comment that, I've been announcing this show for about 30 years, and the animals seem unusually hard to handle, and I think that's probably because boys before those lambs have been here for 2 or 3 days. They've gotten used to other animals being around them, and this is just an odd situation for them as much as it is for us. So I hope nobody's reading into the 4-Hers how to work with these animals. I think it's just animals have a real sense of recognizing an unusual environment, and having them here at the fair for 2 or 3 days before you bring them into the ring, I think that makes a huge difference. I don't know, maybe Darren will speak to that later, but that's my opinion watching what's going on here.
down Deer Lane here. When you go to A-line, this one, she's got a ton of capacity. She stands down on a bunch of bone. She's made right in her rib design. She's really cool in her flank area. She's one that's got a tremendous amount of thickness down that top. Really a great female young lady in front of us. If you would, give her a big round of applause. Thank you.
Not going to show for between Caitlin's two animals. Darren's going to pick the champion southbound from these two.
A couple high quality sounds down here. We're going to use you and lady right here for champion, and then reserve will be your yearling. You would give a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that champion southbound is exhibited by Caitlin DeGraff. Our next class is our Suffolk UM class.
Another single entry definitely can stand good competition. When you go to A-line, this Suffolk U-leg really powerful at the ground. One that comes into a nice rib. Really appreciate the rib shape and the extra length of body. This one is still tied together, quite a bit of muscle and balance. Appreciate the young man for bringing this one out. You would give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
That Suffolk UM was exhibited by William Baxter. We're now ready for our first class of commercial UMs. We'll bring the first class of commercial UMs into the ring now, please.
class to start out your crossbred. The young man brings us a real stout one. When you go to analyze this young lamb, just power. Lots of power, lots of rib shape, really big top, big button. One that's got a lot of muscle in that lower 1/3 of it. Just a really cool sheep to start this class. The ewe lamb in second, I think, maybe is longer body than she is. Not quite the overall thickness and power of what we've seen in that first one, but one that still stands out on the Great Mountain Home and will do the young lady a good job in the future. The bigger ewe lamb in the class, I really appreciate her for her overall size and length of body. She's not quite as square out for her hip and maybe tends to be a little finer on her bone work. Young man that rounds out the class, extremely up-headed, good fronted sheep, one that just simply runs out of mass here today for me. You would give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
In that class of commercial ewe lambs, fourth place was Jay Spencer. Placing third was Madison Avery. Second place was Olivia Fulham, and the first place lamb was exhibited by Connor Portman. Lined up the way they are. We're going to start with this young lady right here. Really cool design when you stand off and look at this sheep put together well from the ground up. Comes into a really neat chest floor when the neck comes down, their shoulders just right. When you go to handle this one down its top, a tremendous amount of muscle working down that top, really pulled apart in its rib and center section of its body. One that's square and level out through that top, and we appreciate the amount of muscle that she carries as well. Your big ewe in second, I sure like being an older guy. I like these big sheep, and I don't have to bend over quite as far. But I'm really designed from a profile standpoint. She's put together right. We just like to give her some extra width to that skeleton, and especially square her up right through that top. The ewe lamb that grabs out of the class. Definitely a nice ewe lamb in its own right. One that just ran into some different competition here today. It could stand to be a lot wider. You would give them all a big round of applause. Thank you. Placing third in that class was Tessa Ortman. Second was Patrick Kinney. And the first place animal is exhibited by Ashley Alexander. We're now going to show our single animal for the commercial yearling ewe. And then following that, we'll be selecting the champion commercial U.
Young lady brings us an extremely good yearly U here, one that can stand a lot of competition. When you go to look at this one, she's put together right. She's balanced in her top line, balanced in her underline. She's good in her front end. She's really good down that top. And handled with some extra length here today, something we don't talk a lot about. It doesn't seem like anymore, but those old guys do. I like one that's got some extra length of body and still maintains itself and put together well. She's going to be a tremendous female for the young lady. If you would, give her a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that commercial unit is exhibited by Tessa Ortman. We're now going to select our champion commercial U. Just a side note for those of you that maybe aren't real familiar with the Sheep Project, when we use the term selecting a commercial U, Darren keeps calling himself an old guy, and he's young compared to some of us, but back in the day we used to call those crossbreds. So the term commercial is kind of interchangeable with the term crossbred. I'm not even sure why they went that way, whether there's a reason people didn't like the crossbred term, but basically that's what we're talking about when we look at these commercial unions. I suppose part of the difference is sometimes an animal is shown as a commercial lamb, even though it could be a purebred, but it might not have papers to verify that, so therefore they'd also throw them in that commercial class. Now in this class, we're going to bring back in all of the breed winners that we've had in the different breeds so far today, and from that, Darren's going to select our grand champion breeding U for this year's 4-H Sheep Show.
If you would give these young people a big round of applause. Even though our numbers aren't real big today, we've got a lot of quality out here. We've got females that are structurally correct. They're put together right. They're right in their rib shapes. They're right in their design. And most importantly, they're going to go home and work for these young people when they go to put them in their flock and put them in production. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to judge this commercial U show. It's been a lot of quality, a lot of great kids. I'm going to show you which two I like the best. If you would give them another round of applause. Thank you.
And our champion commercial U is exhibited by Tessa Orman, the reserve champion by Ashley Alexander. We're now ready in the ring to select our grand champion U. As we're gearing up to do this grand champion U, I'd like to remind you of some of the safety protocols that have been put in place to keep you and our exhibitors safe. You might have noticed that every few classes, we have people going around the ring, spraying down all the different surfaces, the bars and the pins and the gates around the ring. Also, you've noticed and been real pleased to see that all of our 4-Hers are wearing masks, and that's something we've asked them to do, and they haven't pushed back. We're really glad of that. We will be disinfecting the entire barn once this show is over. Not to be rude, we're going to ask everybody to exit as quick as possible once the entire sheep show is over, and they'll disinfect the entire barn. So once again, I really applaud the Extension Service and the looks that are going to in order to have a show and have it safe. It's going to be a busy day here in the show barn, the busiest we've had. Following today's show, we're going to actually have the Supreme Showmanship Contest. That's going to be this afternoon at 2. We will be asking all of the exhibitors that are in that Supreme Showmanship to report here at 1:30. Also want to remind everybody that right outside the show barn here on the east side is where the Junior Leaders booth is, has been for many, many years, and they will be serving lunch today, so I encourage everybody to patronize that Junior Leader booth and help out the Junior Leaders and enjoy lunch. to take a shot at this, see if I can get it right. The exhibitors and animals we have here, starting here at the announcer stand, we have Cora Bartram showing her champion Dorset Slickshorn ewe. Next is our champion Hampshire ewe, exhibited by Madison Hendren. Following that, we have Olivia Fulham with her champion Corn Dorset. The next is Hunter Fulham showing a natural colored ewe. Next we have Madison Baxter, who has our Shropshire ewe lamb. Caitlin DeGraff is exhibiting her Southbound champion ewe. And then following that is William Baxter with the champion Suffolk. And then down there on the end, I think I can't see real well, but I think that is Tessa Hortman down there with the champion commercial ewe. Over here on my left, then we have the reserves in a few of those classes. Down on this end is our reserve champion Hampshire Slickshorn ewe that's owned by Tessa Hortman. And then on that, I think we have the reserve Schrock, maybe. And then I know down on the end we have the champion or reserve champion commercial ewe shown by Ashley Alexander. See if this young lady in the purple actually has the reserve champion Southbound. Yeah, let's see what animal she has.
Young people, big round of applause. Lots of quality out here, but most importantly, we've got quality kids, and we're able to do this show today. And I hope you all take the chance. You probably hear me say it several times throughout the day. Take a chance to thank the people that put this deal on, because there's some people not as fortunate as what we are to be able to have a show today. I appreciate the opportunity. I think an excellent lineup here. We're not going to go through and talk each one of these, but I can tell you I'm very pleased with the ewes that are out here. These are definitely ewes that will go home and work for these young people. They will produce offspring. They will go into production and do quite well and have a lot of longevity. And that's what we're looking for. What a great project this is. Would give everybody a big round of applause, and I'll go pick this champion reserve. Thank you.
That grand champion ewe was exhibited by Tessa Hortman. The reserve champion was exhibited by Cora Bartram. We're going to catch our breath just a little bit, and then we're going to get started with our market lamb show. We'll be starting with a one animal class of Dorsets, and then we'll be following that with Hampshires and a natural colored, and then a Shrunk. So In just a moment, let these exhibitors get these animals settled back into their trailers, and then we'll be ready to get started with the market class.
Red Market Lamb show in the Dorset division, high quality individual that can stand quite a bit of competition. When you go to look at this one, really good in its design, good in its rib shape, good down that top, out through that loin, ties together extremely well in that hip loin junction, and has enough muscle for me. If you would give the young lady a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that Dorset Market Lamb is exhibited by Ashley Alexander. Our next class is going to be the Hampshire Market Lambs.
Young man brings us a really good lamb here. When you go to analyze this one from the ground up, he stands down on a great deal of bone. He's got the extra bells and whistles. He's really good up through that chest floor. One that we appreciate the way that neck comes out his shoulder. And when you get your hands on him, he's got a tremendous crack at him. He handles excellent through that loin and out through that hip. Really ties together well and has a great deal of muscle working for him as well. The problem in the class for me was 2 and 3 here, I think, are really close as far as how good they are. I chose to go with this young lady right here in second. Her she ties together a little better through his hip loin junction. One that handles really firm and tough in the right kind of condition here. This young lady in third, I'll be honest, I love the power of this sheep. This sheep's got a lot of power. This sheep's starting to get a little condition on it, and maybe not quite as fresh down through that hip loin junction. Young man, got a kind of a green sheep here. Needs a few more days on feed, but when you go to analyzing, he's really cool through his front end. He's got a lot of design. He's still got a lot of future left in him. Young lady rounds out the class, does an excellent job showing here. She's got a big old lamb that weighs quite a bit and makes it a little bit harder for her, but she sticks with it. One that gets a little bit passed down here in this class, we'd like to lean him out. But if you would, give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
In that class, 5th place was Alana Alexander. Placing 4th is Tyler Ballinger. In 3rd place was Cora Bartram. Placing 2nd was Madison Baxter. In the 1st place, animal is exhibited by Riker Mao. Our next class will be our natural colored market lamb.
Young lady brings us a really good natural color. I like the design of this one a great deal. One that's put together well up through its front end. One that handles extremely good down that top. Really big old loin in this sheep. One that has the ties together good and its hip loin junction comes out into a flat hip. One that's got a great deal of muscle working for that lower 1/3. Just a big old stout kind of a lamb. The young lady does an excellent job of getting set up as well. If you would give her a round of applause. Thank you.
And that lamb is exhibited by Parker Johnson. Now ready for our class of Shropshire market lambs. I'm going to ask to announce if there's anybody in here that is in the Supreme Showmanship Contest, any exhibitors in the Supreme Showmanship Contest, the horse that's going to be used for that contest is here. And so if you'd like an opportunity, if you're exhibiting in that show and want to acquaint yourself with that animal, you can get with Josh Winrow, and he can direct you to where that animal is, and you'll get a chance to become acquainted.
In your Strawford Advisor, young man brings us a cool design, one that we really appreciate, the rib shape, and then just you can get your hands on it really wide down that top, tie it together well, and one that has a great deal of muscle as well. The young lady is a little bit bigger frame type of a sheep, one that's going to require a little bit more, but really put together well, maybe doesn't quite handle quite as firm down that top, but one that's really wide in that loin. And we appreciate the young lady for bringing her out here. If you would, give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that second place exhibitor is Ashley Alexander. And first place was Riker Mount. Now ready for a class of white-face commercial market lambs. We're going to leave him set up. The young man's going to win this class. He has the both spots he's working for it. Really a good sheep in its front end, pulled up in that chest floor. One that handles extremely good. Really good in that rack and down through that loin. Ties together really good, filled in that hip loin junction. And one that handles with a great deal of muscle. Young lady got a bigger lamb here, one that's maybe carrying a few extra pounds here today for me, and maybe not quite as lean over those ribs, but one that still has a tremendous amount of muscle and a really big loin in it as well. Would give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And that second place exhibitor was Alana Alexander. Placing first in that class of white-face commercial market lambs is Patrick Kinney. We're now ready for our first class of black-face commercial market lambs. The 5th and 6th place lambs were both owned by Marissa Sherry. Placing 4th was Jay Spencer. In 3rd place was Olivia Folan. The 2nd place exhibitor was Parker Johnson. And placing 1st in that class was Madison Ingram. We're now ready for our 2nd class of blackface commercial market lambs. Following this class, we'll pick a champion blackface market lamb, and then we'll follow that up with selecting our grand champion market lamb. Just a little bit of a preview then of where we're going from there. After we finish all the market lambs, we're going to take a moment for our mini 4-H exhibit. This is something we normally do at the beginning of the show, and we're going to move that back to the end. We're going to do the mini 4-H, and then following the mini 4-H, we'll be ready for our showmanship classes. Just a little bit of more unsolicited information. Some of you might be asking yourselves who aren't familiar with the sheep program, why is there a white-face commercial class and a black-face commercial class? It kind of goes back historically. White-face sheep predominantly were what we considered wool breeds that were raised primarily for the production of wool, whereas black-face breeds were typically considered meat-type breeds, which don't produce quite as fine a wool, quite as long of wool fibers, but they tend to be way more muscular and bred just for the purpose of providing meat. So then when we get into these market lamb shows that kind of discern them by that, it's kind of got bled together a lot today where you look at a lamb and the black face and the white face look pretty similar. But predominantly the white face breeds are ones that come from those traditional wool breeds like the Clemmies and the Cordales and not so much Merinos anymore, but at one point some of those breeds that were considered wool breeds.
Really tough fight here on the top end, but when you get this lamb out here, he just kind of hit me hard when he moves around the ring. He's one that's a little bit bigger than his grade score, I'll give you that, but I'm also from the school that I like him a little bigger. Really like this lamb when you get your hands on him. He handles it all for fresh. He's really cool down his top. He comes into a really wide hip. Where he beats this sheep in second is his pin set and his width. When you get right behind this lamb is really wide out through that hip, and just really a cool sheep when you get back there to his hip. I'll grant you, this sheep is cool. This sheep has got a big old raggedy. He handles extremely well. He just gets a little bit shorter hip for him, not quite as wide and not quite as explosive in his pin set. The ewe lamb that rounds in the third here is one that's close to follows the one in second. I really appreciate the overall thickness down this one. Carries a little bit more condition today for me, a little bit heavier in the front end. The next sheep coming out just a little bit greener in this time and kind. We'd like to see a few more days on feet for the next two. The young lady rounded out the class and really big lamb put together well. She hit a really hard class. He's a little bit, he's not as fresh down his top. We'd like to harden him up just a bit, firm him up. But the excellent job by the young lady. You would give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
In that class, placing sixth was Alana Alexander. Fifth place was Olivia Folin. Placing fourth was Madison Ingram. In third place, Cora Barcher. Placing second was Riper Mouth. And the first place lamb was exhibited by Tyler Ballinger. We're now going to show for our champion blackface commercial market lamb.
There's your champion crust bread. We've talked about these a great deal in class here today, but there's two that hit me pretty well that's going to stick together. It's going to be the young man right here and the young man right here. If you would give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
And that champion commercial blackface is exhibited by Tyler Ballinger, and the reserve champion by Riker Mount. We're now ready to exhibit for our grand champion, Market Land.
these young people. I appreciate each and every one of those great sportsmanship here today, and I hope you have fun at your fair. I've enjoyed sorting your Martin lambs, and I'll be the first to admit I'm sure somebody can come in here and do a different job, and that's okay. We all have opinions and different lights and different things that we put priorities onto. But the most important thing that we're able to show here today, these kids are getting this chance to have a county fair and come here and be with their friends, but also come out here and show what they've worked hard all summer for. And I appreciate that because it's evident that each one of these kids has done an extremely good job at home. They've worked really hard. They've put together a great set of Martin lambs here, ones that I think can definitely go on and do quite well in the future. That's enough for my ramblings today. I appreciate the opportunity to do the youth show and the market show. I've been to Howard County. I was on the way up here, one of my first shows that I judged, probably, well, I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, but several years ago was right here in Howard County. I've always enjoyed coming here and enjoyed the people. I wish you luck throughout the rest of your fair, and I look forward to showmanship. If you would give them another big round of applause, and I'll take the two I like the best. Thank you.
And that grand champion, Mark Lamb, was wiping out with his Hampshire. Mark Lamb in the reserve was Tyler Ballinger with the reserve champion Blackface. So we're going to pause for just a moment here, and our next thing will be our mini 4-H contest. And so we're going to give these folks a chance to get their animals back to their trailers and get connected with their mini 4-H exhibitors if they're working with one. And we'll bring these mini 4-H exhibits in just a moment. As we wrapped up the show, I want to once again give a big thanks to our judge this year. It's Darren Klaus. Darren's from Sheridan. Been judging for 23 years, judged in 25 different states. He's alumni at Vincennes and Purdue. Currently has his own business down there in Sheridan, DC, Livestock and Transport, and worked with Darren several times here at the fair. I was glad to hear that he was doing our show this year. He's always great to work with the kids and does a great job. Now let's give Darren a big hand and thank him for coming and doing our show. Okay, I misspoke earlier. I said this was going to be the mini 4-H, and I was wrong. We're doing the mini 4-H at the very end. This is our beginner 4-H, and this is these exhibitors are all in 3rd grade, and this is their first year of showing sheep. And so we start with the beginner. We got 3 more classes of showmanship, and then we'll wrap today up with the mini 4-H. Following this, we're going to be impolite hosts and ask you all to skedaddle and get out of the barn because we're going to disinfect the whole building. But then you'll be welcome back here at 2 o'clock. We'll be having our Supreme Showmanship Contest. They actually picked the senior showmanship champion for the Swan yesterday, even though the Swan show isn't until tomorrow. And so we've selected, once dinner gets done here in a little bit, we will have the senior showmanship champion for the sheep, and that'll round out all of our 5 species. And then they'll be going head-to-head this afternoon at 2 o'clock for the Supreme Showmanship. So you'll be welcome back then. But right now we're going to work through these showmanship classes.
First of all, let's congratulate this young lady. This is going to be the future of Howard County, and sure appreciate them for coming out here. They've done an excellent job throughout the day. I've watched them all and worked with them all. I think for coming out here for the first time, they've all done an excellent job, and I wish them a lot of luck down the road. Work hard, listen to the people around you, your aunts and uncles, and listen to them. Your mom and dad, the mentors that are in your life, because they've done this several times. And but there's the winner's going to be today. This young lady right down here on this stand. She's done an excellent job all day long. Not to take anything away from the rest of them, because they're all great showmen, and wish them a lot of luck down the road. Thank you.
And our beginner 4-H exhibitors were Ashley Alexander and Alana Alexander, and the winner of our beginner 4-H showmanship was Parker Johnson. Yeah, let's give Parker a big hand. She has done a good job. Our next class, and I think we just have one exhibitor in this class, and that is our junior sheep showmanship, and this is for exhibitors that are in grades 4 or 5. And for what it's worth, I think that means they have just completed grades 4 or 5.
We've only got one entry here, but he's also trying out for the rodeo club, and I think he can definitely get on that rodeo club. That was a great save to Mount Luther Land. Young man has got a lot of things going for him. He knows how to get around the ring, and somebody has instilled in him, do not let go. I'm glad that wasn't a 1,200-pound calf, but you've done an excellent job, young man. Wish you a lot of luck down the road. You would give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
And our junior exhibitor is Connor Ortman. We're now ready for our intermediate showmanship class. We'll have 3 exhibitors. Now, this is for exhibitors that have just completed grades 6 through 8. As we're winding down today's show, I want to once again remind people that the Junior Leaders booth is open here just to the east side of the show barn, and so start thinking of ideas of where you might want to go for lunch. Remember that they're serving food items and drinks out of the building right next to it. It's to support the junior leaders and their cause this year. It's a little bit of a challenging year for them since the numbers are down across the fair, but especially numbers are down for our shows as we limit capacity. But we encourage people to think about stopping by the junior leaders booth and grabbing something, a drink or something for lunch.
You would put your hands together for these three young people. We may not have a lot of numbers here this time, but we've got a lot of high-quality showmen. They're each very, very good in what they do in their own right. They've got discipline. They come out here. They work hard. They've got leadership. They've got responsibility. And I've always said that 4-H will teach you those things if you're willing to learn. And these young people, you can tell they're very willing to learn. They've done an excellent job. And I've paid attention all day long to these people, these young people, and have been kind of compiling in my mind what's going on here today in the show ring. These three, I can take these three and go out on the road, and we have a lot of fun. And they do an excellent job. I appreciate it. I'm going to go pick your winner, and please continue to work hard. And those the one that I don't pick, whichever one that may be, that you're an excellent showman. Keep working hard. Come back, because you're going to. The more you come back, the chances are you're going to be towards the top because you're high quality showmen, all three of you. If you would give them another round of applause. Thank you.
And exhibiting in our intermediate showmanship class were Caitlin DeGraff, Cora Bartram, and our winner for this class was Patrick Kinney. Now we're ready for our final showmanship class. This is the senior showmanship class, and it is for exhibitors who have just completed grades 9 through 12.
First of all, give these young people a big round of applause. I think an excellent set of seniors here. I'm going to go through and I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves and what some of their future plans are or what they've learned both in showing livestock.
My name is Tyler Ballinger. I got to work in high school. I'm going to be a senior. I've been showing lambs for 9 years now. The thing I've learned most here in showing lambs is just keep your cool and work with your legs as well as you can and we'll fail.
Hi, I'm Michael Bergman. This is my fourth year in 4-H. I go to Northwestern. I'm going into 7th grade. What I've learned is just to have fun. I'm ready to drive the rock. I'm from Jasper, Indiana. I go to Nashville Elementary. I'm in 6th grade. And the thing I learned about courage is go out there and have fun and learn new friends and help other people out. And, Hi, my name is Madison Baxter. I'm going to be a senior at Northwestern High School. And I'm sorry that it's good to see friends because they have other people from their school.
Excellent. I think it's very important that we get these kids used to talking in front of the crowd. And excellent set of kids right here. These are kids that, there's no perfect showman out there. There never will be. But these kids, I would enjoy taking them. I could stand here probably all day long. They would get tired of watching me critique them. But I think they do an excellent job. They have great mentors. And that says a lot. There's, it's great to win the Grand Champion U or the Grand Champion Market Lamb or Grand Champion Showman. But each one of you young people said something that hit me, making friends. There's a lot of networking that goes on, and in life there's a lot of networking that goes on. Being able to move around this ring and go to different rings and treat people with the right kind of respect, I think is very important. We need that in this United States. We need a lot of good citizens. And right here in this show ring, I can guarantee you, we make a lot of great citizens. And I appreciate the opportunity to come here today. I think it's been a tremendous show. Under the circumstances, very appreciative and blessed that we were able to have this today. And like I said earlier, if you would, make sure you thank the people that allow this show to happen and put together the guidelines so we can come out here and judge them. It's been an excellent show for me. I'm going to go pick your champion and then the reserve for backup for the Supreme Showmanship. If you would, give them another big round of applause. Thank you.
And our champion senior showman was Riker Mauck, and the reserve champion was Tyler Ballinger. We're now ready for our final class of the day for the sheep show, and that is our mini 4-H class. So we'll go ahead and have those mini 4-H exhibitors bring their animals into the ring. So for those of you that aren't familiar with our Mini 4-H program, Mini 4-H is for exhibitors that have not yet reached the third grade. Third grade is where they start regular 4-H. And with the sheep project, what we do is they get paired up with a regular 4-H member, and during the season they go out to that member's farm and work with them and working with those lambs and what all it takes for raising those animals. And then they get a chance to come here to the fair and exhibit them. And so for this show, these mini 4-H exhibitors, they're not really competing. Darren's getting a chance to talk to them there and give them the feel of what it's like to be in the show ring, and just a chance to experience a 4-H sheep showmanship, and also a chance for Grandma to take some pictures. So I've got a list of exhibitors here, but I've got 7 on my list, and I think I've got 10 out here in the ring. So I'm not sure who I'm missing. So I apologize if I've got if I miss your grandchild's name or something. But the exhibitors, and I don't know who's who here. I'm just going to read off my list. We have Brayton Alexander, Grayson Engel, Audrey Zip, Cody Davis, Nick Shepler, R.J. Bryant, and Bryson Schaefer are the names that I have. And I think there's a few more out here, and that's great. And I've just been told we're actually going to have another class of mini 4-H because we kind of ran out of lambs out there. So we've got a couple more youngsters that would like to come out in the ring. So after we get this group taken care of, we're going to bring a few more out. Just give everybody the experience if they want it.
Let's everybody put their hands together for the great group of young people. What an excellent group right here. This is exciting. This has to be exciting for the folks of Howard County. We build up the ring with these young people, and that means there's a bright future here in Howard County, and I see a lot of great showmen right out here in the making. And this is the first step. We got them in the ring and got them moved, and I'm sure they'll be back for several years to come. If you would give them all a big round of applause. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of years I've been doing this, and I don't ever remember this many 4-Hers here, and that is exciting. So it's exciting to think that we're going to keep building this sheep project up. So once again, we'll get these out of the ring, and then we've got a couple more showmen that are going to come out, and we're not going to deny them that chance. We'll give a chance for them to see what it feels like to be out in the ring. As they're coming in, I want to encourage you to stay, but I'm going to say here a little bit in advance that once we get out this last pair of mini 4-Hers, we are going to ask you to kind of scoot on out of here. We're going to be coming in, and they're going to be spraying disinfectant on all the bleachers and all the equipment here, and just doing everything we can to make sure that this is safe and that nobody. We don't hear any reports later of somebody getting the coronavirus and thinking that they got it here at the 4-H show. So once again, not to be rude, we're going to just ask that everybody kind of as quickly as you can move out. We're not too far away from when we're going to be ready to set up for that Supreme Showmanship contest. So we need to give the people working here as much opportunity as they can to get things sterilized.
You know it's a great day when you don't have enough room in your ring for all your mini 4-H'ers. These are 2 extras that wanted to come out here, and we sure glad they did. Give them a big round of applause. Also give Mr. Mays a big round of applause. I've worked with him a great deal. Appreciate him. And my ring help here has been great today. You would give them a big round of applause as well as Purdue Extension. Thank you.
And that wraps up our show. Like I say, we appreciate you being here, but now we need you to leave. So let's. Okay, so we need to have it empty by 1:15.
We just wanted to announce that the cattle for Supreme Showmanship, the swine for Supreme Showmanship, and the horse for Supreme Showmanship are all located outside. So if any of our contestants would like to go through and do any work, the cattle are outside, the swine are outside, and this, sheep are outside.